In this video, I'm going to share with you how I cracked the code to the Wish Fulfill by Neville Goddard. Now, before I was able to learn this, I kept finding the same exact experience with relationships. I would have to go 90%, maybe they would go 10. I had to earn or prove it to them. And no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I kept either getting ghosted or the person was just emotionally unavailable. And after I did what I'm going to share with you in this video, I was able to completely change that dynamic when it came to romantic relationships. I was able to attract an entirely new dynamic. In this video, I'm going to share with you where I kept getting stuck and how you can avoid that. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things that you can do so that you too can crack the code to the Wish Fulfill. So let's dive in. Now, don't just take my word for it. Let's go to the words of Neville himself. And the first quote that I want to share from him with regards to the Wish Fulfilled is, "Nothing comes from without. All things come from within, from the subconscious." Now, if you're familiar with Neville Goddard's work, you know that he said the secret to everything is the feeling. And the feeling is the realm of the subconscious. Dr. Joe says that thoughts are the language of the mind and feelings are the language of the body or the subconscious. And this is going to be a vital component to being able to have your wish fulfilled, because you'll have to maintain the feeling in order to attract, perceive, or experience the wish fulfilled. That experience that you want, the relationship, the money, the career, no matter what it is, it's going to come down to the feeling. Now, the feeling is not some flash of emotion or something that you sit and meditate and you feel 1% of your day, and then you get up and 99% of your day, you're in some other feeling or some other self-concept. This is a deep knowing, a concept of yourself or a perspective of yourself at the subconscious level. Now, where I got stuck so much of this was I thought that wish fulfilled, that romantic relationship, when I experience it, that's what's going to change how I feel. But that's where I wasted so much of my time, because I kept staying in the same feeling, attracting the same people, repeating the old dynamic. And as Dr. Joe says, I kept thinking, feeling, and acting in the same state of being and hoping that something outside of me would come in and that would change everything. So I kept identifying that my salvation, my change was the wish fulfilled. But really, on that path, I would never get there because I never really changed the concept I had of myself. So let me now share a quote that Neville said about the outside world. He said, "Stop trying to change the world, since it's only the mirror. The outside world is only reflecting back to you how you perceive of yourself and your deep subconscious assumptions." So it goes on to say, "Man's attempt to change the world by forcing is as fruitless as breaking a mirror in hopes of changing his face. Leave the mirror and change your face. Leave the world alone and change your conceptions of yourself." And this really is the foundation, just to understand that why things haven't changed, why something hasn't come into your life that you really want, is because of misunderstandings of yourself, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. And therefore, you never actually tap into your power of the feeling. And so you're never actually able to connect to the wish fulfilled that you have. But let me now draw this out so you can better understand what I'm saying. Okay, so this is what happens. We see reality through our mind. Our mind are just perceptions, snapshots of meanings, stories as to why things happened from the past. So the past, currently, if you're experiencing an undesired, repeating, painful dynamic, the past is the lens that you're seeing reality through. So you see, maybe it's a low self-worth. For me, it was about abandonment. So I look into reality not as it is, and we know through quantum physics, every possible reality of you that you can experience exists right now, but it exists in potential form, right? It's wave. And to collapse it into particle, to experience it, we need to put our attention there. And really, you could say that your attention is that feeling. And the feeling is the realm of your body, your sensations. That's why it's not just thoughts, the electrical part of your brain that looks like a little ant, but it's your thoughts. And then the feeling part is your magnet, what you're going to attract to you. That's why you can think you're good enough, but feel like you're unworthy. you'll attract people who treat you unworthy or situations that show you you're not valuable. So we have experiences of the past, stories and meanings as to why that happened, gives us the lenses of how we perceive reality. And so if in my feeling state, I felt like I wasn't good enough, so all I could see was situations, people, and experiences that showed me, oh yeah, that's true. So then it confirmed that, yeah, the past is true. I'm not good enough. And then what did that do? Oh, I can only find more of it. Even though emotionally available people were there, I couldn't see them with my senses, could not perceive of them. Your subconscious has between 20 to 50 million pieces of information that are coming through, and it's sorting through every single second. So you're feeling, your nervous system is your lens of perception. And it's going to block out everything other than what aligns with your self-concept. And that's only going to allow 40 pieces of information into your conscious awareness right now. And then you're going to say, oh yeah, stories, meanings, reasons, confirm the past, see the lens of reality through the lenses of the past. You're just going to keep recreating it. This is why you feel so stuck and powerless, mostly because of these programs, these beliefs, these opinions, ideas, expectations of other people, and you haven't learned to individuate, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But that love, that amount of money, whatever it is, it exists right now. And as you learn to change your lenses and you let go of those old concepts of you according to other people and see yourself through your own eyes, that's what's going to give you the ability to perceive of the situations so that you can start fortifying. And Dr. Dan Siegel says in the book, The Developing Mind, that interpersonal relationships and experiences is what massively has the ability to physiological change your mind. So now let's get into the 3 things of how I personally cracked the code from emotionally unavailable people to an emotional deep relationship. So the first step is going to be personalizing the wish fulfilled. Now, what does that mean? Well, for me, I mentioned this earlier, I kept thinking that if I had the wish fulfilled, it would give me the conception of myself. It would change my feelings. Now, some of these concepts of learning how to do this, I didn't do on my own. I actually had somebody to help me. And if you are looking for somebody to help you, I am still offering one-on-one sessions. We'll sit down together over Zoom. I've already had a lot of people have huge breakthroughs through our work together, and I really want you to have the same. So if that resonates, there is a link below. Fill out the form and I'll email you if I had it from outside. So that is actually an outside in. I was saying that the love outside of me would change how I feel. But really, I kept feeling the exact same way because I wasn't understanding the deeper part. How would I feel with a romantic relationship? Oh, that would meet a need of consistency, security, belonging. That's what this situation would mean to me. So now it's from an inside out, understanding what this situation would really bring. It would enhance, which also gave me the ability to tap more into part 2, which we're about to go into. But if you're looking from an outside in, you're hoping that this thing comes in. It makes people more desperate. It gives them a sense of panic because they're associating that relief from the outside in. The relief comes from the conception of yourself, your level of consciousness, and that is what draws in an equal resonating energy or experience. Now, the second part of this is really getting clear on what is your new self-concept. For me, it was starting to see myself as worthy and deserving. How did I do that? By letting go of the idea of those perspectives I had early on. That person treated me this way. That must mean I'm not worthy. No, that was me in a childhood dynamic, having an inferior and then a superior. I'm not as good because whatever happened in that situation. When I started to see myself through my adult eyes, looking back, I could say, wow, what makes me not worthy? And I ask you that question now. What proof do you have that you're not worthy? Because you're probably going to come up with not much, or maybe it's a story from the past. What if it were that that person mistreated you and you deserve better? Do the flowers outside deserve rain? Does the trees deserve the nutrients in the ground? Of course, they're an aspect of nature. So are you. So as you start to understand, what assumptions do you need to have the money? Well, I would need to believe that I am worthy of my needs getting met. I would need to have an assumption that I am valuable and I have value to offer the market, and therefore, as nature is always equal, what I give out, I get back. And if you don't assume that, you're going to get a reflection of that lack of value. So really getting clear and understanding, okay, if I had my wish fulfilled, what would I assume about myself? What actions would I be taking? The more you can get clear on the new self-concept, the more you can start understanding the part 3, which I'm about to show you, so you can have clarity and start to understand where your power actually is. Okay, I've created a masterpiece. I hope you all appreciate this. I hope you can see it. It's always so tiny in the camera, and then I hope it's bigger, but we're going to do our best here. So the step 3 is going to be what version of you, what concept shows up in the moment, because that's really where you're going to make your vote. And becoming aware, remember the power of awareness, making what is unaware, putting the light of awareness into what you were unaware of. That is one of the biggest things, because when you're aware of something that was unconsciously driving your behavior and making decisions for you, you get your power back to make the choice that aligns with the new version. So this is what changed my entire life. And I encourage you, I know I do this every time, but this is it. This is where your power is. So there's an event, there's a stimulus from the outside world. For me, it was about romantic relationships. And there was one where I felt like there wasn't enough time for me, that there wasn't space for me. And my old would tell me, well, if I ask for more time together, that's going to be too much. And I've got to earn it. I'm not enough. So I've got to prove that I'm enough for them. And I can't ask for my needs, right? So that would be how I'd respond to no quality time. Okay. Now the new me knew I was worthy, valuable, and deserving. Okay. So in this moment, it happened, right? Oh man. Okay. I'm starting to feel like, what would help with me with consistency. Remember, that's one of my needs from the relationship. That is one of the needs it would meet. So I need to ask for it. I'm starting to feel a little bit rattled. I'm starting to be aware. Okay. My body's starting to get really anxious here. I'm starting to feel like I'm going to be abandoned. I'm left out. There's not enough for me. Okay. It's okay. As I became aware of the story and I breathed, regulating my nervous system, and I made a new choice. Okay, I'm going to ask for my needs. I'm going to ask that, hey, consistency is really important for me. And it would mean a lot. Maybe we meet for dinner and maybe we go for a walk. And in that moment, I knew that this was an option, but I was so scared. I was scared that if I asked for this in this moment, I was going to be told no. Because why? Didn't feel enough. I had to work for it. I'm too much, right? But in this moment, as that started to build, what did I do? Who was I going to be? What feeling state, deep knowing and level of consciousness of myself, where did I vote from? Right? Time and time again in the past, I voted from here, right? I would vote from here, interpret it through that lens. It would then fortify the old and I would repeat, right? But what I learned to do through ABC, right? Awareness, breath, new choice, to step out of this automatic impulse of rejection when I was doing it to myself. Okay, awareness, I'm aware of the story, I'm saying I'm too much, okay. All right, I know that it's much too costly to reject myself and tell me no so that I'll tell them yes because I perceive and assume that they're going to reject me. That's too costly for me. So in this moment, I decided to have the conversation, which I said earlier. Hey, consistency is really important for me. And how do you feel about going for a walk and having dinner once a week? Even though I was scared, even though I thought that could be too much, they could leave, right? But I knew that if I did not uphold this person and respond in this way, I was going to reject me, which was going to repeat the pattern. So who is showing up in the moment? Because a new energy in the moment gives you a new experience. If not, it keeps the old and it keeps the cycle going. Which version of you, what feeling state, what level of consciousness do you have of yourself in these moments? What meanings are you putting on? Somebody didn't remember your birthday. Somebody forgot to call. They said that they were too busy. They couldn't hang out with you. The person said that they didn't have any more space on their team for the job. You didn't get the raise you thought you'd get. What meaning about you? Is it the old? Or is it the new? And this is not just an idea like, yeah, of course I'm good enough. Right? Those are just kind of stories and fantasies. You have to know this at the physiological level. How can you Feel safe in your body. Even if you're scared, right? You're like, okay, I'm a little nervous, but I know that I have to get my back here. I have to say yes to me. Showing up in that, as opposed to being led by your unconscious past. The more and more you start to create and be aware of this gap of interpretation and meaning, which version of you is going to show up, getting more and more and more aware that none of these old stories slip past your unconscious. That's what Dr. Joe says. Every time you make a choice from the new you take a step closer to attracting that wish fulfilled, because you're already in the being state. You're in the energy of it. So it's only natural for it to come into your life and you to experience it. Also, you're relating yourself to being equal in resonance with it. Every time you do this, your life will change. This has tremendously changed my life. Now, if you want a little bit more help on how in the world can I let these old ideas of me go and upgrade my self-concept, this next video right here is going to break it all down for you. Thank y'all all so much for watching. I love y'all, and I will see you on the next one.